Are you ready to be fucked, man? I see you roll your way into the semis. Let me tell you something, Pandejo. You pull any of your crazy shit with us, you flash a piece out on the lanes, I'll take it away from you and stick it up your ass and pull the fucking trigger till it goes click.
And that's what he is. He's a worthless sack of shit who expects everybody to do for him and he don't do for nobody. He says he's going to get us for slandering him. What about him slandering Jim for how many years?
Yeah.
You know, just the way he told the story.
Yeah.
He left her there for at least
Doesn't make him-
45
yeah.
minutes that he knew of. I mean, that's according to him. He said he got over there at, I forget what time, 20 after 8, and the ambulance was called at 10 after 9, something like that.
Well, the ambulance showed there at 10 after 9 because I got it on video.
Yeah, and he said he was over there 8:30. Well, even being generous and calling it 8:30, that's 40 minutes that he admits to leaving her laying there on the floor.
That's about what it would take an
Going
ambulance
back
to
and
get there.
forth. Yeah.
Yeah, his story also changed about 4 times too.
Yeah, and that was,
Well, that's what they're looking into right there, the change in the stories. And y'all know I do have 2 cameras in there. Them cameras catch everything that goes in the front door and back door. And they do have my phones.
yeah.
So they are looking at every picture that camera took, every minute, every time someone walked in front of it. So they can pinpoint exactly what time he walked in and what time he walked out.
Yes.
And that's why he's complaining about me having them cameras. Oh, I got him yelling at her and everything on them cameras, treating her like she's a little 10-year-old girl. I'm not going to say anything Vaughn can use. I ain't care about Vaughn. I'm just, there's 2 or 3 people that's getting every video that's posted about him from him and every one of you guys. They see it all. And they're just letting it all come in and they're racking it up and they're writing it all down and they're going to get him. Promise. They're going to get him.
You don't just
Well, we knew he wasn't going to pick her up off the floor because a year and a half ago, she fell over her rug and she hit her head and I heard a thump. So I called her house. There wasn't no answer. I called Irvy. Irvy ran over there, opened the door, went in, said, "My mom's laying on the floor, Larry. I can't pick her up. I don't know what to do," and went back out the door.
Oh, Jesus.
what,
I
14
called
years?
the fireman, the Ron Combs, that owes him $25,000 for back rent. Ron is a fire department man, so I told Ron to go check on Alice. He went down there, and before he got to her door, I was already walking in the door myself. Me and him got her up off the floor. I showed her a few fingers, asked her how she's doing. She acted like she was a little non-coherent, and I was like, ambulance right now. I'm going to be honest, guys, I won't even walk in the house. The last time I walked in, it was a year and a half, 2 years ago. The smell kicked me out. Millie went in there last week, and she said she started gagging and had to leave.
His head.
He's got maggots crawling all over his kitchen sink. Me personally, I think it should be burnt. They're going to demolish it because I don't think anybody's going to want to move into it. The properties are going to be up for sale. The funny thing about it, we ain't even going to put no for sale signs on them because I think they're all 5 of them are already sold. The man that he says called CSB on him for his kids having head lice, the principal of the school, just offered us $125,000 for Alice's property.
Dog. What can happen to Vaughn tomorrow in court? Do you have any intel about what's going to
I
happen?
hope they lock him up forever because Bubba's still waiting on him.
Yeah, is he going to court for child support tomorrow?
Yes. Yes, it's for child support.
Nice.
There's a good chance he won't be walking back out of the courtroom then.
And really, the Frost is hoping that's what happens because it'll be a lot easier to get him out of there because if he goes to jail, we can automatically go in the house, take all of his stuff, put it in a storage unit, and tell him, sorry, here's your storage unit when you get out of prison. Him working for a nursing home for 12 years, he's lying to you. He washed bedpans for a couple of months. The employees was mad at him. He wasn't washing the bedpans right.
Has he
I
ever
mean,
done
how
anything
hard is
right?
it to wash a bedpan? He'd wash 2 or 3 of them and then walk away, and you got to go looking for him to empty some more. You know, he says his mom didn't want to be buried on the top of the hill. Why did she put a tombstone up there? She paid for the funeral to be there. She paid for everything.
And
It
then
was
he gets
all
online.
bought and paid for in both Hamilton, Ohio, and Manchester, Kentucky. 15 years ago, she did want to be buried next to her husband. And then little Alice got buried up there. And she's like, Larry, I'd like to stay near my pond. I love my property and I want to be near my friends. He says that I buried her by a dog. There is not one dog in that cemetery. The only one that's ever been buried by a dog is my father. My dad's dog died a year after he did, and my respect for my father is to bury her at my father's feet, and I did. Well, yeah. Well, it's just like the time he said he did a video and said that Jim raised his hands and said, someday this will all be mine. Jim never did that. He's the one that did that, and I know the rest of the conversation that went with that. I looked right at him, told him he'd be stupid to sell this little country home because it's beautiful out here. Why would he want to get rid of something beautiful and go live in some smoggy ass neighbors getting in your own businesses properties? I can see when someone walks in the front door, I can see her sitting in her TV room watching TV. The other camera is on her deep freezer, that because all the food keeps coming up missing that I'm buying. So I put a camera on the deep freezer and the back door.
Yep. And Larry's
Herbie went over there and stowed them. He took them. That same day, I went out and bought 2 more cameras and put them in there, looked him right in his nose and told him, you touch my cameras and I'll break your neck. If I ever see him again, I don't think I'm going to be able to talk to him at all. This is like taking a 350-pound grizzly bear and trying to show him a steak and saying he can't have it. That grizzly bear is going to take that steak. You know, I've already went nose to nose with him before, right in front of his mother. I told him if he ever talks to me or his mother like that again, I'll drag him outside and whip the fucking shit out of him. And I don't care if his mom's here or not. And then I turned around and looked at Miss Alice. I says, I'm sorry for cussing in your house, honey. I love you.
Oh.
But he's not going to come in here and disrespect me or you in front of me. Because that's the only place he's going to meet me at Family Dollar, or he's going to meet me at the carryout, because that's the only 2 things Onita has. That's like Irving keeps telling everybody I'm a felon. Guys, I have no felony record at all. The longest time I've ever spent in jail was 2 weeks, because I caught my girlfriend in bed with my best friend and I beat the shit out of both of them. And all 8 police officers, when they tried to lay me down on the ground, to handcuff me. And I learned my lesson, because when I got out of jail 2 weeks later, I didn't even have a clean pair of underwear to change into. She took everything. A year or 2 later, I seen her. She ran out of that bar like there was no tomorrow, like the bar was on fire. You know, my boys see this stuff that Irvy's been talking about me. My boys want to come down here and get a piece of him, and I won't let him. He's got a big surprise coming. I think most of you guys know what's coming up, but I can't say much because they're telling me to keep my mouth closed until it all happens. Just put it this way. He's going to go meet Bubba, who has not had a prison person in his cell in the last 5 years. Bubba says yes. Fresh meat. Child support can probably carry 1 to 5. What he's looking at is anywhere from 15 to 35. Anything of Alice's disappears, he's in big trouble. That is why when Millie and Marcia was over there changing the locks, they were taking inventory of everything.
Sounds like a good
All the way down to the pillowcases. You know, if he was smart, people, he wouldn't post out here telling you guys that he's going to move into his mommy's house where he can get his kids back. Larry watches this stuff. Ronnie Ray's watching this. Little Jim's watching this. You're telling me he's moving in there. I'm going over there making sure them locks are changed right now. He has a washer and dryer, but he would take his dirty clothes over there for his mother to do for him. Even the kids' clothes. His mom still does his laundry. It was her only boy. I mean, she was
Well, you know,
trying to be happy that she finally, I mean, she went years without having a kid. She was so tickled pink to have a child.
What'd she get?
Just our fault that it happened to be Stinky. She asked me once, Larry, why can't you be my son? I wish you were my son. Why didn't my son grow up like you?
Well,
The only problem with Vaughn, he better never think about trying to face me one-on-one because he's made his worst mistake. Where's his weakness? The leg.
yeah.
Oh,
The
sweet,
leg.
sweet.
I'm going to sweep that leg. He says I got cameras. He says I got cameras in the renters' houses now. 'Cause I knew he was down there last month trying to collect rent. He literally went outside and chased his adopted sister's daughter, the one who went to the hospital, off the property with a gun. Told her, don't come back here. You ain't getting my mom's money. He was afraid somebody's going to take his mom's money besides him.
Wow. Okay. So those guns have all been confiscated, right? Do you have that right?
He sold them all.
Who
He
did?
got hard up for money and sold them. He said we stole them, but he sold them.
Oh,
He also said that Junior and Jeff were going to move into them 2 trailers. That was never said. And neither one of them could even afford Aunt Alice's trailer. Him saying that James went in, Uncle Jim went in her house and stole all that money. He walked out of there with about 10, maybe anywhere between $8,000 and $10,000. Did I not tell you that he put a new skylight in it? He put a new roof on it. They tore all the carpets up, put all new hardwood floors in it. Every room in the house got painted. The sliding glass doors got took out and had to have a wall built and have a brand new front door put in. That's $8,000-$10,000 right there. That's where Jim put that money at, is into that house, because Stinky's kids kept running into the sliding glass doors, and she was afraid they were going to get hurt. So she wanted that door took out and have a regular house door put in. Personally, I don't need his guns. I got 2 brand spanking new ones, and when my father died, I got 5 more. And I got rid of them because I don't need nothing more than a 12-gauge pump shotgun sitting at the front door, a 9mm sitting dead in front of me. Yeah, well, did you all know that he missed Mr. Gray? He missed that 3-foot alien out in his backyard. I am power of attorney, and I have that piece of paper sitting right there right now where I know exactly where it's at when I needed it. And if y'all want me to take a picture of it and send it, I'll show you the little snapshot that says the state of Kentucky with the judge signature. The judge gave me the power.
Right.
And usually, if you're in the right, you already have your backup documents ready.
You know what he did? He walked in the house, he threw it down on some table, and it's been sitting there collecting dust, if not fell off and the dog chewed it up or shit on it, and he picked it up and threw it away. His only interest was them greenbacks that are sitting in her bank account. For one, half of you might have already heard, I did offer James some money, Stinky some money, to go to the hospital to be up there with his mother. He would not answer the phone. Call the hospital and ask the doctor where he got the phone number for Stinky. I gave it to him. That doctor kept trying to call him. He would not answer the phone. The funeral home called him over 6 times. He would not answer the phone. They called us and told us, we need to do something. Her body's been sitting here at the funeral home for 6 days now. And that's what he is. He's a worthless sack of shit who expects everybody to do for him, and he don't do for nobody. He says he's going to get us for slandering him. What about him slandering Jim for how many years?